They say that there's no honour among thieves.
I've got a lot of time, so I'll go right into it. Let's go into this amazing film, which, what, this gangster grit mystery thriller set in the beautiful but bleak countryside. Or I'm in Yorkshire, I don't know if you've ever been, but
Yeah, I love Yorkshire.
that's it. It feels like home. I was like, I've been to that house before on my walks. Didn't dare go in, and I'm glad I never did. But yeah, I love the whole setting and the visuals for me were just outstanding in this film. So that's one of my first questions for you, Barnaby, is, you've got this amazing cottage. I think your interplay between the light and the dark and the shadows throughout is just absolutely gorgeous as well as terrifying. So with that, how did you approach that eerie atmosphere? And for me, were you consciously kind of leaning into more like horror tropes? Because at first I'd seen mystery, but I thought this is kind of scary. Like where, I'm scared a skeleton's going to jump out of the closet or something. Like these jump scares.
Yeah, no, there is that we were pushing a little bit into that, but we never wanted to go too much into that. And but we were, we were had that kind of idea that we wanted to make the house feel like there was not something right about it. We wanted to make it feel that there was something right. There's something wrong with it, or you're questioning like the reality of it. And so we wanted, everything in that house is being put there very specifically to put to add to that sense, to the atmosphere and everything like that. And everything was designed, even like the tiles on the wall and everything was really, and the house decays as they decay, basically.
Mm.
Yeah, wow, I didn't realize that so much had gone into. That's me thinking you
Mm.
found it. They did a perfect job.
Everything inside's a set, and everything out the house you couldn't even use. Yeah, the house you couldn't use. Everything inside is a set in a studio. So
Mm.
Also, I think then for both of you, with so many characters in what looked like quite a small space, how was that working as an ensemble and keeping everybody's energy? And were there any sort of like challenges that came with that?
I love being in a room with Burn with his pants on.
Yes. You know what? Romy, it actually helps, the claustrophobia and everything, particularly for the actors anyway, that you couldn't get away from each other. It kind of did add to that. Look, we're all in this together and we can't escape. There were some logistics with the cameras, wasn't there, Barnaby, with like particular scenes?
Huge camera, so we're just trying to get it into these rooms, like carving rooms out and putting them out, so.
Oh wow, okay. I don't think anybody realized you have to kind of go to those extremes sometimes.
Yeah. We designed the set. We could move the walls and stuff like that to get cameras in and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean the scene with Eddie and Tian in the room where Eddie's talking to Tian, like
Mm.
the room is so small, but yeah, we had to really like we were around.
Sitting on top of each other. But like you said, if it helps the actors, because I
Yeah.
think, you really can feel that tension growing throughout the film, which is really lovely. And it definitely keeps you on your toes. I know I was guessing from beginning to end and thinking, where is this going to go? Um, so yeah, Burn, your character, very subtle to start with, I think, is a nice way to put it. A bit menacing, bit scary, and I won't put any more spoilers out there, but it's a great character. So what drew you to it, and how did you approach all of that?
Yeah, no, it's interesting to hear you say that because I always think about characters. I'm like, what is it about him that's gonna intrigue people? Because when I see a film, I don't really want to immediately know what these characters' motivations are. I want it to develop in front of me. And I've played my fair share of, shall we say, morally questionable characters in the past. But this one in particular had a quite a difficult backstory that if I go into it as an actor and go, this is a wrong un, he's got no heart and he's got no soul, it sort of closes possibilities down for me. Whereas if you just think this is a individual who works in the grey areas of life, like we all do, And is he the same person at the end as he was at the beginning? Then hopefully the audience come along on a bit of a journey, even though they find him physically repugnant and quite scary or weird or whatever. They can't stop having an attitude about him. Like they either hate him or love him, but they do have a strong opinion. And maybe that's my job as an actor to make sure that the characters, you know, really imprint where we have a judgment on them rather than just going, oh, just another character, you know.
Fabulous, because that's definitely how I felt, and I think that's a credit to every actor in this, because I think every character is so well written and developed through that there's points where I'm looking at another, and then I even went back and rewatched a scene because I was like, hey, I'm going to guess this ending. I am.
Yeah.
Didn't go where I expected, though. I will point that out. You know, you threw a right ball at the end, should I say? You know, with the film, which is it's just great. Like I said, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but amazing. So the film for me and for other critics that I'm going to throw under the bus as well, I've seen being compared to, and I can see the similarities with Reservoir Dogs. An amazing film to be compared to. You know, I'm going to point that out there. So I'm going to ask Barnaby, do you see that? Were you influenced by that? Can you? Yeah. If not, that's fine.
Obviously, you are influenced by like Reservoir Dogs because it is like a chamber piece too, you know. So it is, and I definitely we watched. You know, you watch it and you have it in the back of your mind, and you know, but I think that the thing that I really like, the thing that really inspired me was like the old 70s movies of ours, you know, of England, you know, like the Get Carters, the Long Good Fridays and stuff like that. And even Bob, you know, Eddie's character was very like he was channeling Bob Hoskins, the hairstyle and everything. He was just like he wanted Bob Hoskins, you know. And so, you know, but it's also the noir of England too, like Brighton Rock and everything. And even the Lady Killers and Lavender Hill Mob, I wanted that kind of turning up like all the eccentricity a little bit too, you know, to add into. So I wanted to make an English version of it. So I'm great, you know, obviously, you know, it's great, but it's like, you know, even more modern films, maybe Sexy Beast or something like that. But it's like, you know, but those classic 70s, 60s movies, and you know, those were the ones that really like, you know, those were the ones that I was looking at.
Amazing. That's fantastic, and definitely some films I'm going to revisit, and I think one for my watch list. So so that's fab. And if we've got a couple of more seconds, what is the main thing you want audiences to take away from this film?
I just want them to feel the richness in it, you know, and I just feel that, you know, I just want them to just and also like the class that what you just said, you know, it's just the classicness of English gangster, you know, of classic English gangster, you know.
Love that. Classic English gangsters. Stunning.
Obviously with a little few knobs involved in it too.
Crime doesn't pay, kids.
But it does.
It does, yeah. Oh dear.
Oh well, thank you both. I think I'm going to get kicked out now, but thank you so much for your time. That was fantastic.
Thanks, Romy. Cheers.